Hey guys, so I decided not to limit this channel to speakers only, and for the first time today we'll look at quite an interesting amplifier called Argon SA-1. So the whole construction is based on the NAD Amp1, but as Argon says in the comment on one of their videos on YouTube, both companies went in slightly different ways. And I suspect not only when it comes to the features, but also the sound quality. Electronics are enclosed in a modern, minimalistic looking metal case that feels surprisingly solid, especially for its class and price. No savings here. It never bends even when you try to put some pressure from the top, and it is also where you will find the gold Argon emblem. It is a nice touch. I feel the design will work almost in every room style, especially given you also have a white color option to choose from. Blue LEDs light pleasantly, not too dim, not too bright. I am however not a fan of having digital volume control. Personally, I'm all for analog, especially for use with computer and just to feel a bit safer with the volume. But enough of the nitpicking, let's focus on the sound quality. Right off the bat, I will tell you that I'm always skeptical towards every new amplifier. That's because most of the new ones I've listened to were frankly disappointing and couldn't match the performance of my 20 years old NAD 320 BEE. And I am including higher spec gear in that, which theoretically should sound much better. And apart from all of that, there is also the whole controversy around Class D amps, with an equal number of supporters and opponents. And it happens so the Argon SA-1 is in fact Class D, but like I always say, the most important is to be open-minded. So what was my initial impression? From the first few tracks, above all, sound surprised me with depth and authority. Despite maybe some slight boost in the low frequency area, the bass still felt quite natural and in control. I really do appreciate this sense of body and weight, because many amps today, to be honest, either lack that foundation or they do it in a totally opposite way, such as the Pioneer A40, where it sounds almost like a boombox as I remember it. Another example I recall was the Cyrus 1, an interestingly sounding one, but with some imbalance in the mentioned frequencies. Argon SA-1 on the other hand provides bass power, but at the same time is very smooth. Details are also picked out quite nicely, and in combination with the mentioned bass foundation, you get overall engaging 3D-like imaging. Perhaps higher frequencies can sound just a touch sharper and more digital-like compared to my analog NAD 320, but as I said, they are in turn clear and quite revealing. I would say overall SA-1 still provides a rather natural performance, which I couldn't say for example in the case of the Marantz PM6005. In comparison, that one sounded just plain harsh and lacked a lot of finesse. In regards to the mid-range, all the vocals and instruments were clear and generally in line with the rest of the frequency range. Okay, maybe if I were to nitpick, the upper mids and perhaps lower part of the treble could have been slightly more audible, then there is a chance I'm hearing that strong influence of bass here as well. In terms of the features, SA-1 has a good amount of inputs, built-in ESS sub-red DAC and Bluetooth 4.2, which supports aptX HD codec. I've tried connecting it to my phone via Bluetooth, and indeed I was pleasantly surprised by how well it worked. It sounded nice and I couldn't even witness any lag, as you can notice in this footage.
So notice they were a bit cheaper than the 606, or with something, because sight and clarity bars, I was pretty much at the concert.
Just be careful when controlling the volume on your phone. Again, that's why I would prefer having an analog knob. Aside from that, my only complaint from a usability perspective is relatively quiet but rough sounding pop when you turn off the amplifier. Maybe it's just my unit, but if all SA-1s have that quirk, I would hope to see that being resolved with future revisions. Oh, and AirPlay support could be nice to see as well. But all in all, Argon SA-1 was one of the few amplifiers that met my standards. Additionally, it is small, packs great design, solid build quality, and a lot of features for the suggested price tag. Keep in mind we are talking about the cost of 370 euros, and let alone sound-wise, I would argue SA-1 is very compelling and exceeds the performance of amps such as Cambridge Audio XA35, Marantz PM6005, NAD 326 BEE, NAD 316 BEE version 2 or Pioneer A40. Would I choose Argon SA-1 over my beloved NAD 320 BEE? Well, probably not. Don't get me wrong, SA-1 was one of the few devices very close to my NAD in terms of the sound, but still I think this old NAD is just a bit more neutral and rich in the mid-range area. And beyond my preference, that is truly more useful for my hi-fi reviews, so I stay with that one again. But ultimately, let me know what do you think about the Argon SA-1, especially if you had experience listening to it, and perhaps how it compares to the other amplifiers you've heard. Consider subscribing to my channel for more hi-fi reviews. Next, I plan to put out some bookshelf speakers reviews, so stay tuned for that. See you in the next one. Peace.